Hey guys, welcome back to another video from Quick Freeze's Game Room. Today's going to be doing a updated deck profile for my Pokemon TCG card game deck that I like to call Electric Waters. Now, it's been quite a while since I did a deck profile, so my last deck and this deck are going to be quite different in so many ways. So, but I figured I'd just do a deck profile, keep you guys up to date. So, the first thing I'm going to show you guys are the energies. Now, I know energies are just kind of like blah energies, but I'm going to show them off to you. And the first two I'm going to show you off are the double colorless energies. I basically put these in the deck because I have two EX Pokemon in there that require two colorless energies, so this helps them out, to do the different moves. Next energies I'm going to show you off are 4 darkness energies. I do have some darkness Pokemon in the deck, even though it's called Electric Waters, and I'll show you the reasons why I have those Pokemon in there. Next up is I have 6 lightning energies. Obviously I'm going to be having lightning Pokemon in the deck, so I need some lightning energies. And next off is I have 4 water energies because I have water Pokemon in the deck. So that's basically all my energies for this deck. So, alright, the next thing I'm going to show you guys are the Pokemon themselves. And I'm going to be starting off with the normal Pokemon, since I don't really have that many normal Pokemon in the deck. But I have 4 Eevees in the deck. And basically I have Eevee in the deck mainly because Eevee, as we all know, can transform or evolve into multiple different types of Pokemon. And since this is kind of like, I want it to be like a 2-type deck, but it's kind of like a 3-type deck, so I figured Eevee would be a good choice since it evolves into so many different Pokemon. And the first being Umbreon, and I put Umbreon in the deck because its Slashing Strike does 80 points of damage towards your opponent's Pokemon. Now, this move cannot be performed twice in a row, but still it has the Shadow Drain move at the top of the card. Now the next one is Vaporeon, and I basically put this guy in the deck because the Spiritual Drain, it does 60 points of damage, plus it does 20 points healing damage towards Vaporeon. So not only does it do 60, but it also heals itself for 20 damage. Now the next card up is a Jolteon, and basically I put Jolteon in the deck is because of Pin Missile, and it says flip 4 coins. This attack does 40 damage times the number of heads it gets. So basically, yes, it could do 0 damage if you get all tails, but if you get at least 2 heads, that's 80 damage, so that's quite a lot. So that's the reason why I put Jolteon in the deck. So moving on to the next type of Pokemon I'm going to show you guys is Dark Pokemon, and the first one I'm going to show you up is 2 Zoros. Basically, I have this guy in the deck because of 2 reasons. Basically, because I think he looks kind of cool. And the second reason is because he has Ascension, which basically lets me look for another Pokemon that'll evolve from that Pokemon, which would be Zoroark. Now, I only have one of him, and basically I have him in the deck because he's actually quite powerful. He has 2 different moves that only require 2 energies apiece. And if I have 2 dark energies, he can use either one. Now the first move, it does 20 damage times the number of Pokemon in play. So usually there's quite a bit of Pokemon in play at a time, either on the field or on the bench. So he actually does a lot of damage. Now the next move is Dark Rush, which does 20 damage times the number of damage taken, number of damage this Pokemon has taken. Now this Pokemon has 100 points of damage, so say he has 90 damage counters on him, he can do 180 damage in return. So Zoroark is actually quite powerful. Okay, the next thing I'm going to show you guys are my water Pokemon, and I don't really have that many in the deck, but what I do have is I have 3 Oshawotts. Now Oshawott, basically you're just your basic Pokemon, has 60 HP. Tackle does 10 points of damage, Water Gun does 20. Nothing really special about him. But he evolves into Dewott, and I have 2 of him. And Dewott has 90 HP, does 20 damage for 30 damage for Water Gun, and the next move is Razor Shell, which does 40 damage. Plus, if you flip a coin and get heads, it does 20 more damage. So it could actually do 60 if you get the head. Now, evolving from Duat is Samurott. Now, I always get that name wrong, but I basically put him in the deck because of Pike, actually. Pike does 30 points of damage to your opponent's active Pokemon, but it also does 30 points of damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. So I actually kind of like that. I like the whole theme where I can attack my opponent's benched Pokemon a lot. So I think it's kind of like a sneak attack. Now his other move is basically just Surf for 3 energies. It does 80 points of damage. So I don't really have a lot of water Pokemon in the deck, but moving on to the other type that I do have in the deck, which is Lightning. And the first Pokemon I have up is everyone's favorite Pokemon, Pikachu. Now I basically just put Pikachu in here for its evolved form, Raichu, but basically Pikachu has Thunder Shock, does 10 points of damage, and it has a chance of paralyzing my opponent's Pokemon. Now evolves into Raichu, as I just said before, and the first move Raichu has is Thunder Shock. It does 20 points of damage and has a chance to paralyze my Pokemon once again, just like Pikachu. But the reason I have Raichu in it is for Slam. Flip 2 coins, and it does 80 points of damage times the number of heads. So it can do 0 damage if I get all tails, but even if I just get 1 head, that's a lot of damage. It does 80 points of damage. If I get 2 heads, it does 160. So Raichu is actually quite powerful. Now moving on with the Lightning Pokemon, I have 3 Sphinx in the deck. Now basically this really doesn't do all that much. It does Thunder Shock, which is just simply 20 damage, and then it has Jump On, which is flip a coin, this head does 10 more damage. So basically it'll do 10 damage regardless, but if you get a heads, it does 20. But you know, if you want to just skip ahead, just do Static Shock, you'll be fine. Now evolving from him is Luxio, and he has 2 moves. He has Bite, which simply does 30 points of damage, which is fine. But he also has Quick Turn. It does flip 2 coins. This attack does 20 damage times the number of heads. I probably won't use that move all that much. I'll probably just stick with Bite. But evolving from him is Luxray. Now Luxray is actually quite powerful. Luxray has Flash Impact, which does 60 things of damage for only 1 energy cost, but it does 20 damage to one of my Pokemon, so I kind of have to keep a watch out for that. His second move is Crush, which does 80 points of damage, and it says flip a coin. If heads, detach an energy card from a defending Pokemon. So if I get heads, I do 80 points of damage, plus they lose an energy card, so I thought that was actually quite awesome for Luxray, and that's why he's in the deck. Now, that's basically all my Pokemon, except for 2. The remaining 2 are both EX Pokemon, and they're in the deck because they're actually quite powerful, and I wouldn't want to like run into these guys in-game. And the first one is Zekrom EX, and basically his first move, he does 50 points of damage, flip a coin, and he does 30 more for 3 energy costs. So that's actually quite powerful. It does 80 damage if you get heads. Now the next move is Strong Volt, and this thing does 150 points of damage, and all you really have to do is discard 2 energy cards from this Pokemon. That's why I basically have the 2 colorless energy cards. Basically I just put 2 lightnings and a double colorless, and he'll be able to do 150 points of damage right away, actually. Now the next Pokemon EX card I have is Kyurem, and his moves are Frozen Wing, does 60 points of damage. It says discard an energy card attached to a defending Pokemon. So it's actually really, really powerful, just like Luxray. Now the next Pokemon it has is Hail Blaze for 120 points of damage. This Pokemon cannot use hail damage during the next turn. So basically I could just do hail damage the first move, and if my opponent's Pokemon is still alive, I can do Frozen Wing and just clean up. But that's it. That's basically every single Pokemon I have in the deck. So let's move on to the trainer cards. Now the first card I have here is Syrian. Basically, he doesn't really do all that much. Basically, he'll just let me draw 3 cards. The next card here, I got Professor Juniper, and basically I have to discard my entire hand, but it lets me draw 7 new cards. So, okay, the next card I got here is I have 2 level balls, and basically this lets me look for a Pokemon with 90 HP or less. So this kind of like helps me out if I have, no Pokemon, and I do have a lot of Pokemon that have 90 HP or less in the deck, so this kind of just helps me look out for them. Now the next card I do have is Pokemon Communication, and this says reveal a Pokemon from your hand, put it at the top of your deck, but then I get to search my deck for a Pokemon and reveal it. So basically I could use Level Ball to look for maybe Pikachu, reveal it with Pokemon Communication, and I can get Zekrom. Alright, the next card I got here is just your basic potion card. Basically it just lets me heal 30 damage from one of my Pokemon. Nothing really special about that, but it lets me heal them. Now the next card is Pokemon Center. It says once during each player's turn, that player can heal 20 damage from one of their bench Pokemon. So basically I just have this in here to help me heal Pokemon if I have in the bench, if I made them retreat. Which I don't really do, so I might take Pokemon Center out, I'm not sure. Now the next trainer cards I got here, I got 3 Cillian, and basically he lets me look for 3 basic energy cards from my deck and put them in my hand, which is really good because, I want energies, I want them available and ready to be put on my Pokemon for, strong, powerful attacks. Now the next card I got here is 2 energy searches. Basically, as the title implies, it lets me look for an energy card from my deck, which all I really have to do is reveal it. Now the last 2 cards I do have in the deck are called Energy Retrieval, and basically this lets me put 2 basic energies from my discard pile back into my hand. So if a Pokemon has been killed, I get to at least bring back some of the energy that I lost from that Pokemon. So there you have it. That is an updated deck profile for the Pokemon TCG card game deck that I like to call Electric Waters. Now this deck itself, it's untested. I haven't been able to play it with anybody in real life, or I haven't been playing it on the Pokemon TCG card game online. I haven't built it on that program yet. So this deck is untested, so I don't know how well it would play. But I'm really excited. I would like to find people to be able to play it with. But if you guys, you look at this deck and you see kind of like small suggestions, small tweaks to this deck that could possibly help me out into, in the future, maybe win some battles when I actually play some people, that would be much appreciated. Please leave a comment below. But yeah, that is basically my deck, my updated deck profile for Electric Waters. So thank you guys for watching, and as always, I'm QuickFreeze4 from QuickFreeze's Game Room, and I'm here to bring gamers together, one game at a time. Later, guys.